With the release of OpenRoads Designer Update 4, one of the things that we've done is introduce the Text Favorite Manager. The Text Favorite Manager allows us easy access to our text favorites to where we can select them, we can take a look at what was originally set up, make changes, accept those changes. The introduction, however, of the Text Favorites Manager has required us to make a schema change within the file format, and this is going to have a side effect where older files you will not be able to rename a text favorite, or if you add a text favorite you will not be able to rename that newly added text favorite either. And so just to show you an example of the problem first, and so if I go to the old text editor, for example, and let's say that I want to try to rename a text favorite. So I'll select this one and I'll just change this name. It looks like it takes it, but when we close and we come back in, you're going to see that it did not accept the rename. And if we go to the new favorites manager, it's going to be the same situation. If I click to rename this and select it, press enter, hit the save button, it looks okay. But again, if we come back in, you're going to see that it does not take the rename. So how do we fix this problem? Well, first let me say, if you are all done with your text favorites for your particular workspace and you have no intention of renaming text favorites or making new text favorites, then you can continue to use your active DGN library as you have it today, and it will be fine. You're just going to have to understand that you're not going to be able to rename any text favorites. You can go ahead and make changes. If you want to make changes, you can save those changes and they will be remembered. It's just an issue with the actual name of the favorite that is a problem. Now, in the event that you would like to make a new DGN library where you don't have to have this limitation coming with Update 4 and beyond, these are the steps that we would want to do. In this particular file, we can see by going back to home here, just to show you, this is going to be a 3D file, and so I'm going to keep with what we have, and this is in our delivered Imperial workspace, this text favorites, text styles, dimension styles, imperial.dgnlib. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a brand new file, and because it was a 3D file, I'm just going to be consistent. It doesn't have to be a 3D file. I'm going to select this 3D file, and then we're going to change our filter here, and I'm going to put in here what we're going to call it. I'm going to give this one the name new temporarily, and I'm not going to give it a dgnlib extension right now because I want it to not be picked up by the workspace. Let me make sure I get the right seed file there. And so now we have this text favorites, text styles, dimension styles, imperial new.dgn. So we're going to save this new file. That's going to take us into that file. Now, what we have here basically is a blank file, and in the examples delivered workspace, we do have, as by the file name indicates, we have text styles and dimension styles in here. I want to go ahead and bring those over first, and so I'm going to go to my dimension styles, and I'm going to select to import all of my dimension styles, and I'm going to grab from my original file my dimension styles, so we'll select. And so now all the dimension styles are imported to our new file. And then we're going to do the same thing with text styles. And so we're going to go to our text styles. And again, we're going to import. And we're going to use our original file to pull in our text styles. And you'll see now that those have all imported to our new DGN file. So we can close that out. Now what we want to do is we want to proceed back to our text favorites manager, our new text favorites manager. And then what we're going to do is expand down. You'll see our original file here is still loaded by our workspace. And so I'm going to go and select using my mouse and my shift key in my original file. And then I'm going to right click copy. And then in my new file, I'm going to right click and paste. One thing to point out is there is a known issue at the time of making this video where the text styles for some reason are not coming across the correct assignments. And so for example, if we take a look at alignment name in our original file, it had a particular text style called cross-section annotation center bottom. And so if I go back up here, it's not the right setting. And so I'm going to come up here to select that cross-section annotation center bottom and save that change. And then that way it has now the correct text style. And so you will have to go through each of these and change the text style assignment, and then after each change you will want to go ahead and save that in this new file. Now, just to show you that this does now work, if I right click, for example, in this example, and I come back and change the name here to Bearing and save that, and then if we come out and go back in, now you will see that it does indeed keep the new name. So I'm going to go ahead and take this back to where it was. Again, just a proof of concept, and we'll save that. Once you're done and you have all of your text styles then assigned properly to your text favorites, at that point you would want to then take your old file or your original file. I'll go ahead and rename that. I'm just going to call this ORG. That way we got it in case we need to go back and get something. And then I'm going to rename this one to the DGN-LIB extension, take the word new out, and we will be then good to go. And so that's what you would do in terms of fixing your text favorites DGN library.